Hi, my name's Adora, and I'm going to be telling you about my STEM story. So once again, I'm Adora Twebu. I'm originally from Nigeria, but I currently live in Houston, Texas. And I've been living in Houston, Texas since 2013. I am the oldest of four girls. Here's my family here. I am also currently a senior electrical engineering student at Texas A&M University. And one fun fact about me is I actually grew up in Minnesota. So I lived in Minnesota for about 10 years before I moved to Texas. Fun fact number two is that I love to travel and try new things. Currently, I have been to 17 states in the United States, and I have been to four countries outside of the United States. So, my tech journey in childhood. So, when I was a kid, I was very curious about how things worked, and I really enjoyed building things. So, in these pictures here, I built a baby box clock for an adventures fair in elementary school. So, the whole idea behind the baby box clock was so that little kids or babies and toddlers had a place to put their small toys and also had an early start to be able to tell time. So that was the whole idea with this baby box clock invention of mine, was to educate kids to tell time early, because I know that when I started learning to tell time, it was sort of difficult for me. So I try to figure out ways where, it could be made fun for kids. So growing up, my favorite subject in school was always math. That was always my strongest subject. That's something that I really enjoy doing, is math. So it's really what has led me to where I am today. Also, moving on to this. So this is a STEM camp for girls that I attended twice in middle school. So it's called STEPS Camp, Science, Technology, and Engineering Preview Summer. And during this camp, I had the opportunity to meet other girls who wanted to learn more about STEM and wanted to learn more about engineering and building things. And during this camp, I had the opportunity to meet older people and adults who would basically help us learn more about different things. Like, for example, the one that I remember the most is that we got to build a kite. So we got to build a kite with a motor, and we got the opportunity to go to a lab and actually solder some things. It was a really, really fun experience, and I had the chance to do it twice. And this camp takes place in Minnesota, I believe St. Thomas College or University. And so if you live in Minnesota or anywhere that offers these sort of camps, I highly suggest that you attend a camp like this. So my tech journey continued. So how has that translated into where I am today? Well, starting off, my freshman year in college, I studied abroad in Yucatan, Mexico, and that was for research on infrastructure. So as an electrical engineer, there are many different things that you could do with your degree. So for example, if you are passionate about research and want to do more research about how to improve things in the world, that's definitely a route for you to go through. And that is something that I had the opportunity to learn. My experience with research is that, it was fun, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do. But I'm really glad that I had the exposure. I had the opportunity to, go into a different country and learn, more about that country and learn more about the infrastructure there. So the following summer, I worked as a field engineering intern at a nuclear waste treatment plant. So this nuclear waste treatment plant was actually in Washington State, and it was literally in the middle of nowhere. So sometimes when you think of engineering, you think of, being out in the field, wearing a hard hat. So this was that, maybe typical engineering job that you would think of. And here I had a great experience. I learned more about electrical machinery. I learned a lot about electrical tools, electrical principles, and it was a great experience learning about all those things. So this was more focused in the power industry and how in how power works. So that was a really great experience for me. The following summer, I worked as a facilities instrumentation and controls engineering intern at Intel. And during this internship, I got a peek into the world of automation and the semiconductor industry. So I learned a lot about programmable logic controllers, which are basically the brain behind automation. So think about a machine in a factory, right? In order for that machine to work, you have to have something to tell it to work and to tell it what exactly to do. And these things are PLCs. So I had the chance to design a project that would help the engineers on site troubleshoot PLCs whenever a failure went down. So just imagine many different machines in a factory, right? So if a PLC goes down, a lot of different pieces of equipment could be affected. So my job during this internship was to help design, a screen or help design a tool that will help engineers be able to troubleshoot issues very quickly. So after that, I worked as a program manager intern at Microsoft, and I still work for Microsoft. So this is my second time interning with Microsoft. And as a program manager, your job is basically to work with customers, advocate for the customer, and also design the basically design the tool or the feature or whatever it is that you're building. So you're working with engineers, you're working with data scientists, you're working with designers, you're working with a bunch of different people, bringing all those resources together in order to accomplish a goal, accomplish a task, build a tool, build a product, so on and so forth. So one thing I really like about this role is that it's very customer facing. I get to work with many different people. I get a chance to see different perspectives. And so it's a very communication heavy job. So you have to be good at communicating and you have to be good at working well with others. So I really, really love this job, and I graduate next year, or I graduate in December. So hopefully I can come back to work for Microsoft full time. So here are just some of the things I've built. So when I was a freshman, I had a task in a class to build a robot. So basically what this robot did is sort marbles. So we used an EV3 Lego robot in order to just sort marbles based on color. So for example, if the color of the marble was green, it would go to one bucket. If it was red, it would go to another bucket, so on and so forth. And so this is the first time I really ever got exposure into programming and coding. So I had to learn how to code this robot, and I had to learn how to build this robot in order to perform the functions that we wanted it to, which is sort marbles correctly based on color. So next, I have had the opportunity to design circuits. So in my class, I designed an adder circuit. So basically what it's doing here is, depending on where you put the wires on the board, the numbers are going to change. So we just saw number 3, and now we're going to see another number, 7. So it's adding different values here. So that was a really cool experience for me. So as an electrical engineer, you get to build robots and you get to design circuits. Another experience that I've had is I've had the chance to build a website for my class. So here you could see some of the code that we used for this project. So the whole purpose of this project is to allow students who are working on projects for senior design, which is a class that you'll take if you're an engineer, or it's also known as capstone. We design a web application so that students can be able to place orders online at any time of the day. So there have been some issues with, how students place orders, and there have been lots of restrictions. So we basically designed this website to sort of help those restrictions and those issues that, were found during this capstone order process. Okay, so some of my hobbies and extracurricular activities. So I am an owner of a business. My business is called Adorable Meals. And what I basically do is I cook Nigerian food and cater. So I started this business back in 2019. And so, it's been great. I've learned a lot during this journey, and it's been difficult, but, it's been fun. I love to cook, and I love to, serve people. So this is something that I've been very passionate about, and I've learned a lot, and I've had a great experience doing it. So, also another thing that I'm very passionate about is STEM outreach to kids. So, I joined an organization called the National Society of Black Engineers when I got into college. And the mission of the National Society of Black Engineers is to increase the number of culturally responsible Black engineers who excel academically, succeed professionally, and positively impact the community. So in this photo here, we're basically positively impacting the community, right? Because we are teaching kids about different concepts in STEM. So here we had an activity for the kids to basically build a bridge that would sustain as much weight as possible. So that's just an example of some of the activities that we had with kids. So this is something that I'm very passionate about because I feel like every child deserves to, learn about STEM and deserves to have people around them who, have these skills, who have gone to college and who can educate them more on, all the possibilities and career choices out there. So this is my goal also with this video, is to educate you with all the opportunities that are out there. Another thing that I'm very passionate about is hosting events on campus so that other students like myself can learn more about other opportunities, specifically opportunities at Microsoft. So I've had the chance to collaborate with Microsoft to host events on campus. And this event here, I had the chance to collaborate with SHIP, which is the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, and the National Society of Black Engineers as well. And we collaborated together with Microsoft to create an event to teach people more about how to get into Microsoft and the type of work that you'll be doing at Microsoft. So with that being said, what I really want you to take away from this is that electrical engineering is so broad. And so engineering is also very broad. There are so many opportunities for you out there. You can design circuits, you can build robots, you can code, you can do research, you can do field work. There is just so much that you can do out there. And so I encourage you to think more about STEM, think more about engineering, and think more about how you can get into those things. So my advice to you, number one, is to be curious about how things work. So if you see something that you don't like, or if you see something that could be improved, I challenge you to try and do some research about how you can fix those things. My number two advice to you is to get involved in extracurricular activities. School comes first, yes, and school is very important. Please take your education very seriously. But extracurricular activities give you exposure to other things, to give you exposure to other activities so that you can learn what you're passionate about. Through these extracurricular activities, you also get to meet other people. You get to learn about what they do and what they're passionate about. And it's a great way to make friends, of course, friends who have similar interests as you. So third advice is to read books, challenge yourself, and never stop learning. Reading is very fundamental. Through reading, you can learn so much about the world, and you can also learn more about yourself. And while you read, of course, you build and you develop those skills. You increase your vocabulary, increase your reading speed, and learn all sorts of different topics. So I love to read, and I encourage you to continue reading as well, and also challenge yourself. Don't always take the easy route. I know things get hard, and things get hard for me as well. Engineering has not been easy. Even though I did all those things when I was younger, college was hard. And, that's how life is. Some things in life are going to be hard, but I really encourage you to not quit, not give up, and continue to chase after things that you are passionate about. Just never give up. And of course, never stop learning. right? So my goal is to be a lifelong learner. I never want to stop learning. I want to continue improving my skills. I want to continue learning more about the world and learning more about how I can contribute to the development of the world and to the improvement of things. So I encourage you to think about what you can do to improve the world. What skills do you bring to the world, and how can you make an impact while you're here? Bonus is to learn how to code. So if there's something I could have told my younger self is to learn how to code. I wish I had someone in my life who, knew how to code and who was, maybe in computer science and could teach me some things like, how to build a web application. So I encourage you, if there are any activities in school, maybe there's a coding club or something like that. I encourage you to get more involved with coding, because the way the world is moving is that everything is becoming more digital. Everything involves technology. And if you really want to stand out and if you really want to make an impact quickly, it's really through technology. So the best way to do that is to learn how to code, learn how to dive deeper into, how you could use technology to solve your issues. So now I want to tell you a little bit more about Nuevo Foundation. So Nuevo Foundation's mission is to inspire kids to be curious, confident, and courageous by discovering the world of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So I highly encourage you guys to learn more about this organization, get involved, check out their website, and take the different activities that they have on their website, which I'm going to show you next. So if you want to stay in touch with Nuevo Foundation, you can visit their Instagram, you can go to their website, and you can also contact Nuevo Foundation. So what I forgot to include here is that if you go to the Nuevo Foundation website, they have different workshops. So you can learn workshops on coding. You can you can take workshops on hardware. So back to where you saw me using a breadboard with all those wires, well, on the Nuevo Foundation website, you have the opportunity to learn how to do that as well. So if you want to stay in touch with me, here's my email, adora11atwebu@gmail.com. I really look forward to getting any emails from you. I'm always here to help and be a resource to you. So if you ever think of any questions, or if you're curious to learn more about what I have done and to learn more about me, please feel free to reach out to me. And last but not least, I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all social distancing. This is just a friendly reminder that when you go out in public, to please wear a mask and please stay social distanced. So that's all for today. I really appreciate having the time to talk to you more about my STEM journey, and I hope you learned a lot. Bye.